Hello, I'm Bella and welcome to Nerdy Bell. Today I'm going to be regurgitating a lot of information. What started this was I had to go to the DMV and have my license not reissued but updated, and I became an organ donor. When I first got my permit, I wasn't old enough to become an organ donor, and then I just kind of went with it and had accepted that my licenses would just be sent to me as I aged up, along with the picture staying. But the thing is, today I was able to actually check that box and become an organ donor. And I got a little pin. Isn't it cute? Because I'm going to give my organs to people who need them after I'm dead. And as I was driving away from the DMV, I realized how important of an issue this is that isn't talked about enough. So to just give you an idea of how severe the need for organs is, I'm going to throw a lot of statistics at you. So with my cheat sheet in hand, let's see this heartbreaking road go. There are over 119,000 men, women, and children on the current transplant list in the U.S. alone. Just the U.S., almost 200,000 people need organs and aren't getting them. In 2015, there were only 30,970 operations performed. While 30,970 is a huge number, compared to 119,000, it's minuscule. And it's a problem because 22 people die every day waiting for organs. That's a full high school classroom. 22 people every day. And that's a comparison to the person who's added every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, a new person is added to that list. 22 people a day, and every 10 minutes a new person is added. 119,000 people are waiting to basically die or be given an organ. While 95% of U.S. adults support organ donating, only 48% actually sign the consent form. Now, there's this crazy concept called bodily autonomy. Well, it's not that crazy. It's given to corpses even. So unless you sign that consent form, or you have somebody who you've given a family member the permission to sign that consent form for you, your organs will not be taken after you die, and you will take them to the grave with you. While the crazy thing is, one organ donor can save 8 lives. Over half the organs taken are from people who have already been deceased. So after you die, you could save 8 lives. No cost to you, no cost to your family. You could save 8 people by nothing but dying. Well, granted, some people are not able to be organ donators. Still, if you sign that consent form, a medical team can decide that, and you could save 8 lives after you die. And I know I keep emphasizing that, but I just find that to be such a beautiful concept. You don't have to do anything, and you can save 8 people. You could give a 4-year-old their full lives. You could save a single mother and let her raise her children. You could save a father to not just his own children, but to many. You could save so many different people just by donating your organs. And you don't have to do anything. You don't ever have to feel pain. You don't have to recover from a surgery. You could donate organs and save 8 other people. So, this is basically the vocal version of a graph. There are about 200,000 people in average who are on the list. There are only about 30,000 transplants performed each year, while there are only 15,000 people who are willing to donate. 200,000 versus 15,000. The amount of supply is minuscule to the amount of demand, and it's an ever-growing problem because as the demand grows, the supply drops severely. So now that I've just dropped a bunch of facts on you, let's go into the myths. I have a chronic condition, or I've had cancer in my past, so I can't donate organs. That's not true. Well, yes, having a chronic condition or having cancer in your history can cause problems when trying to donate an organ. after your death, a medical team will review your history and view your organs and determine if they are viable to be transplanted. Nobody will know until after you're dead. So if you had breast cancer at 20, but you've lived a perfectly healthy life afterwards, your kidneys could still be used. Just because you've gone through something or have a chronic condition doesn't mean all your body is no longer able to use. Well, would they necessarily want to choose lungs from a smoker? No, but your corneas could still be used if they are healthy. So while not all of your potential organs that could be donated will be donated, that doesn't mean that some part can't, and you never know until after you're dead. So the worst thing that can happen is you check that box and they say, sorry, you can't use this, but thank you for your donation anyways. The next myth. Doctors will know that I'm an organ donor and they won't try to save my life. Another lie. When a doctor gets their license to be a doctor, they take an oath that they will do their best to save a life no matter what the conditions. It does not matter about sex, orientation, gender, any of that. It does not matter because their goal, their sole purpose is to save you from dying. And most times the doctors who are saving your lives have no involvement in deciding if your organs are viable or not. It's a completely totally different medical team who will decide if your organs are usable. So the people who are saving you versus the people who are collecting your organs, two separate groups, and it's never going to overlap. Most times doctors don't know you're an organ donor until after you're dead. The next fact, myth. If I'm rich or celebrity, I'll move up faster in the line. No. Where you are on the list is determined by your medical need. If someone is the richest person ever and has 10 years before they might need a transplant, but they're put on the list because it's severe enough, they'll be down here, while somebody who has 30 days to get an organ before they die is going to be higher on the list. Even if that person on the higher part of the list is the poorest person in the world, if they're getting treatment and they are viably dying and are going to die in the next 30 days, it's just not 30 days, I'm just giving this as an example, they're going to be higher on the list than somebody who has millions of dollars to throw into their treatment. Your placement on the list does not matter about your wealth. After donating, I'll only be able to have a closed casket funeral. No. The need for organ donors is so severe that when you do donate your organs, after you've died, you are treated with the utmost respect because still, bodily autonomy and the fact that you were a living human is still taken into account, and you will be treated with respect as you would by any person who would be preparing you for a funeral. The capabilities of people who prepare bodies for funerals is immense. They can make somebody who is severely ill look like and died of severe illnesses and don't look like themselves at all anymore, almost bring them back to life and make it look like they're just sleeping. The techniques that they have to revitalize a body enough to make them look like a genuine person again are amazing. So unless you decide to be completely naked during your funeral, people are going to see the autopsy and the organ removal scars. But most likely you're not going to be naked at your funeral, and your eyes are going to be closed. So there's going to be no visible indication that you were an organ donor, unless you have it stamped on your forehead, and or are naked. My religion says I can't. In fact, most religions will look at it and say you are donating a life. You are giving a life to somebody else, and it is a charitable act, and will not frown upon it. If you have questions about that, and religion is an important part of your life, go talk to your religious leader and have a discussion with them. They'll be able to tell you, but don't automatically assume that your religion is going to say no. And finally, my family will have to pay for the organs I donated. If you give somebody something, are you going to pay them for it? The only thing that your family will have to pay for is the medical expenses leading up to your death and your funeral. That little bit where they're taking the organs, there will be no expenses in that. Your family will pay the exact same amount that any other family has to pay when a family member has died, except for the fact that you will be saving potentially 8 lives in the meantime. So I hope this has been a little insight on to organ donating and debunking some myths. See ya.